All right. What is up, YouTube? What is going on, fellow fantasy people? And of course, what is up, the catch fam? Hope everyone is doing phenomenal tonight. You guys already know what time it is, or maybe you don't. No more fantasy left in the world for the rest of the year. So no more fantasy Q&A, but we are here to bring some 2021 NFL playoff discussion live to you. Going to break down wild card weekend. It's going to be a long weekend of football. I'm super stoked to be here. We got Steven in the building. What is going on, man?
What's up, baby? What is up in this cold fantasy worldless place we live in, man? It's a dark world we navigate.
I know. I brought this up yesterday. It was really weird waking up
Yeah.
on
What's up,
Monday.
Spence?
Hey, Spence, and not having a waiver wire video to do.
I know. Yeah, I was because I mean we're going through like the must draft players at each position next year, and I'm going through doing the kickers and the defense, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like every single week having to get in that grind of figuring out who to start, what matchup to exploit. That's fun, man. I'm out here just doing it, just making up matchups in my head, thinking about.
I should have done a 2022 week 1 waiver wire video.
Yeah.
Just
Predicted the schedule, put that in there and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool. So we've got a lot to get into tonight. I want to start initially getting your reaction to the Colts not making the playoffs. So I figured that'd be a good way to start the stream.
Oh, is that a good way? You know, it's actually I was going to wear a Colts jersey today and act like I had no idea that we lost to the Jags and just play this whole routine. But then I was like, wait, that would require me to put on this dog shit team jersey. I was fucking pissed, bro. I mean, I was literally disgusted with myself watching that game.
You didn't even just lose. You got beat.
Yeah, we got our asses whooped by the Jags, the worst team in the league, who just got beat 50-10 by the Pats the week before, who we beat. And then it's like the Jags are playing to be like the worst pick, right? So they can get Aiden Hutchinson in the draft. And this happens, right? We lose to these guys. So what I want to say before really breaking down the emotions of the game, we are cursed playing in Jacksonville. Haven't won since 2014, I think I heard in that game from Scott Hansen. That's absurd, bro. Like, why can't we win in Jacksonville? Like, they don't even have a home base of, like, their fans don't give a shit. They were wearing clown heads, like, during the game. Like, I don't know. It baffles me. But what scares me about this is that I do think we had a really good playoff team. I think that we could have made some noise in the playoffs. I think a lot of people did too. I mean, we were kind of a favorite to make some noise in the playoffs if we made it there, just for Jonathan Taylor alone. But
and the defense, I think.
Yeah, the defense too, which being banged up and having people out really hurt us the last 2 weeks. But the scary thing is that we do not have a first now because of Carson, and Carson is our quarterback in 2022. He's our guy. Yeah. He's our guy. There's no way out of it. People have asked me, they've been like, oh, right. So when are you guys going to cut him? When are you guys going to not have him on your team anymore? And it's like, bro, he's our guy next year. Like, there's no way around it. Like, we were idiots. Like, I don't know what the hell we were thinking.
Yeah, it's tough. That's really tough. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has his best game of the whole season.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was upset for you, man. I was upset because I want to watch the Colts in the playoffs as well. I would way rather watch them than the Raiders or the Steelers, who I don't.
The Steelers. That's the team I didn't want to see there.
Yeah. Which naturally brings us to, I guess, the next point of conversation I want to touch on is the Raiders, and Chargers game, and your thoughts on it overall. Because I personally think that the Raiders were content with a tie in overtime.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's basically come out. Like, they were saying that was going to be the case. I forget which player said it to Austin Eckler, but they were like, for the timeout, we were going to, just let it go to tie. And for me personally, like, I think that's like, I mean, I don't know necessarily how it would have shaken out in terms of like positioning for the playoffs, like who they would have played. But if I'm the Raiders, I don't want the Chargers in the playoffs. Like I would rather
Sure.
have the Steelers as a competing team to play against me for the Super Bowl. So I think it worked out for the Raiders either way. But for a fan, like viewership, like that's bad for the playoffs. Like now we're gonna see the Chiefs decimate the Pittsburgh Steelers and make Ben Roethlisberger look awful. Like we saw what happened last time they played. Like it's gonna be a bad game. Like let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, I would much rather watch the Raiders or the Chargers potentially play the Chiefs or the Chargers potentially play the Bengals. But
I like the Raiders though, man. I really
I
like this team. They're
I
gritty.
think they're
I see
okay.
hybrid. I see hybrid Harry in the chat, putting some respect on him. Ronald making fun of Wentz. I love to see that too. But no, I mean, dude, the Raiders. I think they're getting somewhere this year. I mean, Derek Carr proved it over and over again this year, and I am so sick of these haters of Derek Carr, bro. Like
I am too.
this
I've
guy's
always
the
liked
real
Carr.
fucking deal. He's
Yeah,
legit. Um,
yeah,
I don't know. I want to see them win a game. Unfortunately, they're going up against Cincy, which is a winnable game, but we'll
sure,
get to that later for sure.
sure. Um, I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of crazy that I think at that point in the game they were just kind of like, there's no point in potentially letting the Chargers win this game, you know,
Yeah.
because
Well,
both teams had a possession. And, right? Or had the Chargers just had a possession
no, I
in
mean, it came
overtime?
down to the very end, bro. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way they fucking ran that all the way down.
Man, but I think the Chargers played great too. I mean, they played
Yeah,
bad, but in terms of their offense coming back, Herbert looked great. I
dude.
mean, he looked excited. He made some phenomenal throws.
That
I
strike at the end of the end of the
Yeah,
game to get him in OT, that was nuts, bro.
to
Mike Williams
Williams.
coming up.
Yeah, that was a huge play, man. Listen, I just want to see the Chargers in the playoffs, to be honest. Like, I know their defense is abysmal, and they proved that once again. But I wanted to see Herbert in the playoffs, so I was kind of disappointed with that. But listen, like I don't want to take anything away from the Steelers or the Raiders, because the Steelers, while I don't think they're an exciting team, they're not a team that really poses a threat. They still made their way into the playoffs, and they deserve to be there, right? I mean, it's a big win that Big Ben Roethlisberger and that team put together against the Ravens, right? This past weekend, a lot of people are kind of brushing that under the rug, but it was not an
Um,
easy win in Baltimore.
it wasn't an easy win. I don't know if you saw how Terrell Suggs entered the field with the Bane costume and just came in like he was Bane coming into Heinz Field from Dark Knight, dude. It
And
was
he
sick, bro.
retired.
Yeah, but he just came back and like because it was in Baltimore, so he just came back and was
No,
like,
I
"Yo,
didn't see
I'm
that at all.
retired, but I'm still a badass."
That's kind of cool.
But I mean, they do have TJ Watt who tied the record with 14 games. I mean,
Yeah,
is this dude's crazy? Like, I don't
yeah,
want to. We're gonna hear like years down the road, like before people break down the stats, they're gonna be like, "Oh, TJ Watt's record doesn't mean shit because of the extra game." But bro, he did it with 4 less games. Like
that's
that's
true.
nuts, dude. Like
That's true. And
he
eventually, like let's say that we only have 18 games for the next century,
yeah.
which we could have 20 games next year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it'll be like yeah, it'll be up
but let's
soon.
say we do. Like, how many players are going to tie that record or have that many sacks through 14 games in the next century? Probably not many.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable what TJ
Yeah,
did this year. It honestly kind of snuck up on me too. I didn't really see it. I think there was another guy, and I want to verify this too, but Robert Quinn for the Bears. I think he had like 18 plus sacks. And it's
yeah, he had a
like
monster year one year.
it's like, what the hell? What happened, bro? Where was this from? Like, is he when he got the original contract with Chicago, he was like the biggest bust for them, and it was like, what the hell? And then he comes out here and has like close to 20 sacks. I mean, it's absurd. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I will say this though, the Bears, getting rid of Nagy, that's a big deal. I know we're going to talk a little
True.
bit about some
Yeah,
of the
well, let's
firings.
let's hop right into the firings. Why not? And I am trying to verify for you. We've got Watt, Strahan, Justin Houston.
Yeah,
We
he had a
got
great year.
Jared Allen. A couple guys I've never heard of. Wow, a lot of Watts on there.
JJ's on the list.
He's on there twice for 20.5. Aaron Donald 20.5. You got Reggie White. Wow, Reggie White at 21 for such a long time, man.
Aaron Donald getting 20 sacks as D tackle is actually absurd.
I don't
Like,
know
that's
who
crazy.
I have to admit, I don't know who Mark Castino is, but
Oh,
he
that was the
has
old Eagles legend, bro.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, or Jets.
1984,
Was
he
it
had
Eagles or
22.
Jets?
I could tell you in just about a second. The Jets. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Robert Quinn had 16 with St. Louis, 2013.
Mm,
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, but Watt tied that thing, man.
yeah.
Wow. And Michael Strahan, really, I mean, he had 22. The half
Well, yeah,
sack.
I was gonna say that's also kind of bullshit. Brett Favre literally gave that to him.
Brett did him a favor. He did him a solid,
Yeah.
but no disrespect. So, yeah, firings. Okay, we had plenty of firings. We got another one today. We got Joe Judge out for the Giants. We
Thankfully. Holy
got Matt
shit.
Nagy
Giants
out.
fans are sweating.
We got Zimmer out. We got Brian Flores out, which came as a surprise to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we got Vic Fangio, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think these are all good moves. Like,
Not Flores. Not Flores, in my
Okay.
mind.
I think that's fair. We talked about Flores a little bit last night, and I think I won't be surprised if we see, what happened to Dan Quinn, right? He leaves, or he becomes the head coach of the Falcons. He gets fired. He goes to the Cowboys. He does some really, really good things, and now
Yeah.
he's in the head coach candidacy run all over
He
again.
deserves
Right?
it. He deserves it.
Sure, sure. I could see something similar happen to Flores, where maybe he goes back to being defensive coordinator for a year or two, and shortly after shortly after he is in the head coach, candidacy again, right? But when he was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, like lights out, right? I mean, this is a guy that everyone wanted to be their head coach. So I think he's got a bright future ahead of him and everything. Not that he's like young or anything, but I think he's got a lot that he can do in the NFL. But when you look at the other, firings, like what happens to Mike Zimmer? Does Joe Judge ever get a job again? And I mean, don't get me wrong, all these guys
Yeah,
can be.
Joe Judge will get it too. But that if you
Yeah,
look at the way this speaks to much broader conversations that you can have that we
yeah,
probably just won't have. But the way the NFL operates at the coaching level and front office level even is very like who you know type of culture. It's like a boys club. And that is exactly why I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Zimmer's a coach somewhere. If Joe Judge for sure will get another opportunity somewhere,
yeah,
especially as a coordinator. I mean, he moved over from New England. It was very obvious that they were just like, oh yeah, he comes from New England. We got to put him in there. I I think he was a little bit too old school to think that he was going to be able to do some of the things he did on a pro team. I mean, the way he was working his players to the bone, it was not something that anybody liked.
yeah.
But yeah, the Giants had to move on. Nagy sucked. Flores, bro, I know you're talking about his future, but I mean, dude, like when I was doing the defense video, like, bro, I don't know how to even rank this team now because without
Yeah,
Flores, I think he was the heartbeat of this team.
sure.
There's a lot of question marks for me about the future of this team now. I
I
don't
think
understand it.
we kind of remember the second half of this season for the Dolphins much more than we remember the first half. The first half they lost 7 games.
Yeah, and
I
that's been 2 years in a row. So I get
yeah,
the concerns about that. You got to start up hot at some point.
yeah. But I do think that if you hold on to him, give him a couple more years, they probably could have came out in a much better spot too. Now, I think he kind of mismanaged my guy Tua too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's there too. But I think you had a lot of rumors flying around. Do we have faith in Tua as a number one quarterback? Are we trading for Deshaun Watson? Are we trading Tua? So I think that was potentially an aspect as
Oh,
well.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Because I mean, it didn't really seem like he had trust into it, but at the same time, was it the front office and ownership making all those things go around about
Sure,
going after Watson, or was it Flores?
sure.
Because it did seem like there was some serious disconnect. And for me personally, like just being an outside eye, I'm not saying Flores like believed in Tua, but I also feel like he's a player guy and he understands the realistic nature of like he wants to win now. He wants to not be playing for 2022. And so Tua is his quarterback now. So let's put the trust in him. But I know ownership, I know like the way you generate money is by putting the more gifted athlete at quarterback. Let's go out and trade. Let's go out and play for a guy like Watson.
Sure.
And that was a conflict that happened internally. Whether or not Flores was the odd man out or not, I don't know. But I do feel like that was a major piece to why Flores left because that's the future of this team too. Because is Tua the guy? Is Watson the guy? Who's the guy? Because I don't think they even know right now.
Sure. So do you think what do you think happens with Mike Zimmer? I'm interested now.
I think he takes kind of like a Gary Kubiak, Tom Coughlin type of, maybe even like a Parcells, like when he was a little bit older on, where he is an older coach, right? And so I don't necessarily think he's going to be moved to another job automatically. It doesn't even make sense for him to step back at OC. But I could see him taking like kind of like a back shoulder type of role in a team, right? Maybe in front office, maybe take a year off, but come back and do that kind of thing. We see that all the time with coaches. If you're respected in the league, which Zimmer is 100% respected in the league and he deserves it, you know, eventually you just lose the locker room.
And you just need change too.
Yeah. Dude, the Vikings need change more than anyone right now.
They've been the same team for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Like literally just it's different players, same team. So we got the Jaguars, they'll be open, and the Raiders will be open as well, presumably. Although the Raiders have done okay since Gruden's firing, right?
I think they're going to keep him. I think they're going to keep him.
I won't be surprised. I mean, do you think about a lot of the adversity that they faced since Gruden's been gone? You got the Henry Ruggs situation. You've got, oh my gosh, can't remember his name, with the gun on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it was. Yeah, and then you've got they just had another player get a DUI as well.
Yeah, something Hobbs.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not very good at these Raiders players' names, but that's a lot of things happening at once that a lot of people would not be able to handle in interim head coach position. So I won't be surprised if they keep him around for another year. But do I think he's a long-term answer? I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, I think this guy brings something to your team, though. I mean, he does really hold in. I mean, what's funny too was that he's like kind of the only guy that remained out of that Gruden, coaching staff, right? I mean, shit, they even got rid of his son, I believe. So it was like he really kind of stayed the course and he kept a certain element of like, we're all we got, right? And I think that really carries weight in a place like Vegas and Al Davis type of culture. So I would not be surprised if they stay with this guy next year because him, like Derek Carr and him, I think those are the dudes that really got this team to where it needed to be this year, to be in the playoffs, which is a huge fucking deal for Las Vegas. That's crazy.
I can't say his name right, so I keep ignoring it. But Rich, I can't say his last name. But have you heard the rumors that Jim Harbaugh is like in the running?
Yeah, no, I think Michigan's talking about trying to lock him up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go there. But I have heard it. He's had speculation everywhere in the NFL.
Sure. There's always this college coach is in the running. We hear this every year, right? LeBron's brain, what's going on? Ronald, what's up? Andrea, hello. Appreciate you guys being out here. Jerry, what's going on? Steven has a flashlight pointed at him. So yeah, lots of head coach firings. I mean, I think here's my final question before we hop into the playoffs, right? Out of the teams available with head coaching vacancies, who do you think is the most attractive landing spot?
Denver,
okay.
And I mean, I'd probably say Denver. It's really teetering between Denver and Minnesota.
Okay. I'd
stay with Denver for a lot of like outside of the front office concerns, the draft capital and the salary cap and the player personnel.
Yeah, those are good points. It's weird. Those didn't even cross my mind. I kind of like Chicago.
Andrea likes Chicago too, man.
Yeah, I think you got Darnell Mooney, you got Montgomery, if he can stay healthy, you got Justin Fields, you got to draft about 10 offensive linemen. You've got a good front seven. Their secondary is awful, so there's definitely room for improvement there. But I don't know. I think they're kind of interesting young squad that you can build around. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
What's your least desirable? Because I could say mine is probably honestly mine might have been Chicago.
Really? Well, I was about to say, and I kind of
the
like
Giants are right there too. The Giants are no. I think Jacksonville can't be the least desirable job because of Trevor Lawrence, because of draft capital.
I kind of think of them as a good landing spot. I would put them. Those are the two teams I think of first. But you're probably right that it probably is Denver.
I would take the Jags job over Chicago, over the Giants, because the only thing that those teams give you that the Jags don't is they give you a prime market, and they give you kind of like a legacy, like, oh, I'm the coach of the Chicago Bears, right? Like the Ditka type of vibe, right?
Yeah.
But at a certain point too, like that shit just doesn't carry. Think we're gonna see the Jaguars be a very attractive destination because you've got a starting quarterback, tons of draft capital, Travis Etienne coming back fully healthy, James Robinson, hopefully he gets back there. You've got the personnel, right? A lot of potential on this squad, and the owner is a dude who will literally do anything to make a team good. Like he's willing to adhere to whatever the coach wants. Urban Meyer took full advantage of him and abused that power, but it can come really in handy when you're a coach looking for a job.
I hadn't even thought about the Giants at all. I guess because it just happened today. But yeah, I don't view them as. I think they might be the least desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Miami's in a quandary, right? I mean, because you can look at Miami and say, this was almost a playoff team. They've got a good young defense. They've got a questionably decent quarterback at, Tua. But there's just not much
something about that team. Something about them Dolphins.
And being in Miami too is a great free agent location. I mean, players want to play in Miami, but they haven't really been able to put anything out on the turf recently, right? And it's like it really is because they've had quarterback issues forever. I don't expect them to really make a good move here. But it'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing, I'm going to talk about it a lot in the college videos that I'm doing, but the biggest thing Jacksonville needs to do is bring in culture guys, right? They need to bring in like Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, big culture guy, work hard type of dude, Chris Long type of player. And we saw what kind of success he had in the league. But you need to do the same shit at coach too. You need to bring in a guy who maybe isn't an immediate winner, but like a Dan Campbell type of vibe. Like he's going to change the culture of the locker room for the future.
He ain't getting fired.
No fucking way is he getting fired, bro. And Dan Campbell, we trust.
Spine at the knees. So, any other big takeaways from this past weekend before we start breaking down these playoff games?
Just how much I miss fantasy. Jameson Williams, a receiver for Alabama, goes down too. That was a guy I was very excited to talk about in the offseason. So that's depressing, but I know it's going to be fun. We're changing up a lot over the offseason, obviously content wise. So it's a new challenge for us, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Let's get to a couple comments. Jerry says the Eagles are going all the way this year. Ronald, just making the playoffs in a coach's first year is amazing, actually. One thing the Eagles can do consistently is pick coaches that win. That's true.
That is very true.
Even Chip Kelly, who was by far the worst in recent years, won a ton of games his first 2 years. I miss kicking Steven's ass in fantasy. Yeah, don't we all?
Ronald made a comment up above, too, that I didn't highlight when he said it, but he said Dougie going to the Bears, and Doug Peterson actually is an interesting play here. Comes from kind of the same cloth, the Andy Reid, Matt Nagy type of cloth, where they all kind of came from the same place. But I mean, Doug Peterson, he's a fucking winner, man. And he's taken some time away from football ever since the fiasco in Philly. But I want him back in the NFL because he's a great offensive mind.
I think his name's floating around. from what
It
I've
should
seen.
be. He's probably
Yeah.
more deserving than a lot of other names that are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens to Matt Nagy now?
OC role. I think he was quality control before he got the head coaching gig.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, Matt Nagy's an interesting case study to look at, like, in terms of coaching, because when you look at this guy's time in Chicago, he's made the playoffs. Like, he's put together some
I think
decent.
he's had a winning season every year.
Yeah, this has really
Except this
been.
year, right?
Yeah, and this year it was basically like, we're gonna fire you. Like, so it's like, what the fuck are you playing for? But he's
Sure.
never had a quarterback either. And his whole thing has been like, he's an offensive guru. So you would hope to have like a quarterback that you can work with. He had to deal with Mitchell Trubisky for like 3/4 for basically his entire career in Chicago. And now he's got Justin Fields, who has a lot of question marks. So it's like, I don't know if like the Matt Nagy, like, shackling and like abuse he got was really that deserved, because like Joe Judge wasn't getting that shit all the
Sure.
time he was in New York, but fucking Matt Nagy got it horribly.
Joe Judge, man. What a weird coach.
Oh, he sucks,
weird.
dude. He sucked.
They haven't had a coach complete more than 2 seasons with their last 3 head coaches.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Tom Coughlin, but he had a rap on that organization.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey hated him.
Oh, I think a lot of people hated him. Apparently, it's come out. But hey, he won 2 Super Bowls against the greatest of all time, right? All right, so we're gonna go in order here in terms of how these games are being played. So Saturday, 4:30, which I'm kind of upset about because I'll be at work for part of this. We've got the Raiders at the Bengals.
It's a great good
matchup. Both teams are 10-7. These teams are, to some degree, built in similar fashion. The Bengals much more explosive offensively, but you got a faulty. The Raiders secondary is okay, actually. They got Casey Hayward back there, but the Bengals secondary is not great. This defense either shows up or it doesn't. Like, there's really no in between. The Raiders don't have a lot of good skill. Okay, they're built pretty differently. I retract my statement, but it just feels like a good matchup. Like, I really like this Bengals team. I think a lot of people like this Bengals team. They're young, they're explosive. I think a lot of people are fans of Joe Burrow right now. You got Jamar Chase obviously making waves in his rookie season. Joe Mixon looks like a true veteran running back. He can do it any way you need him to do. You've got great skill position players outside of those two with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. You get some solid tight end play. The offensive line's played pretty good on the season. So I think this Bengals team is hot. And this Raiders team, I don't think a lot of people were expecting them to creep into the playoffs here, but you go back to the first couple of weeks of the season, and this Raiders team was a team that people were really big fans of.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, or the front seven at least, has played well. The secondary's played better than we give them credit for, but they do tend to kind of break towards the second half of the game, right? In this offense, I mean, players have stepped up all year and gotten it done behind Carr. And I think a player that I want to give some credit to on tonight's podcast, who does not get any credit ever, is Josh Jacobs, who's had a solid year. I'm not saying he's been great. He hasn't been a Joe Mixon on the Bengals, right? But he's had a solid year.
Yes. And especially in 2022, when you start looking at his fantasy outlook, I mean, Kenyon Drake just proved how worthless he is.
So I think that this is going to be a really good game overall. And I could see it going either way, but I'm going to be part of the majority. I'm going to lean towards the Bengals here.
Yeah, so I wanted to break down a couple things.
Yeah.
So right now, this is a like you said, the Bengals are favored by 5.5 points, actually. And so that, I think that's a little rich. I mean, I will say, though, last time they played, Bengals beat them 32-13 this season.
Oh,
but they did catch them when the Raiders were starting to do their plummet, right? Because they obviously started off hot, like you said, but then they like tanked drastically. And it was right around that time period. But one guy that shined in that game and I think is going to be the guy that we see as the reason why the Bengals win this game is Joe Mixon. 30 carries, 123 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns he had against Las Vegas. You can make a lot of comments about how the Vegas Raiders have actually been decent against the run to finish off the back half of the season as opposed to what they were doing in the beginning. But this is still one of the worst defenses against the run. I think the Bengals, the one thing about the Bengals that makes this team a Super Bowl threat in my mind is they got the moxie at quarterback. Burrow can do it. But B, it's how flexible this team is. You can't really scheme this team because they've got Mixon and then they've got the best passing game maybe left in the AFC, right? Yeah. So it's like it's a very dangerous team. Let me just say
it is. And yeah, you bring up a great point. I mean, the Raiders on the season as a whole, although they did play better, last couple of games, they've been awful against the run on the season.
Yeah.
And Mixon is a guy you can feed all day long. But also, it's a great point that there's just so many mismatches. You put a safety in your number one corner on Chase, then you got to put someone on Higgins, and then that leaves Boyd open. I mean, we've talked about this in the past couple of weeks as well. I mean, this team is a complete mismatch. Uzma's a good player too at the tight end position, so they can get it done any way they need to get it done. If you're going to stop the run, they're going to throw it. You're going to stop the pass, they're going to run it. If you stop one specific pass catcher, they're going to throw it to the other pass catcher, and they're all capable of playing like number one wide receivers. So I mean, it's a scary offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is too is like I think if the Bengals do in fact win this game, Derek Carr is going to catch a lot of heat for it because people are like, oh, he deserves to get the praise, and then so when he doesn't win, people are going to shit on him. But we talk about how flexible the Bengals are. Burrow can win this game and not have to do anything necessarily, or he's got more to disposal that he can do a screen pass to Chase and he can go 80 yards to the house. Derek Carr is not in that spot. No. Like, Derek Carr has to do more. Derek Carr has to win this game. Like, if the Raiders win, it is because Derek Carr proved he's a superstar quarterback. It's because Derek Carr proved his name deserves to be in the class of that top 5. In my mind, that is the only way to win this game.
Yeah, and like I said, right, different players have stepped up for this Raiders team offensively all year long. And if they don't step up, then this team's screwed, If Edwards doesn't have a big game. I mean, Waller came back last week. He looked fine, which is good. That's huge. It's huge for the Raiders. But you got to have those two guys step up. You got to have Zay Jones step up, who has been playing well as of late as well. But it's just such a different offensive look than Higgins, Chase, Boyd, Burrow, absolute studs at their respective positions. But I mean, I don't think we should underestimate this Raiders team, but I just think the Bengals are the better team overall. But playoffs get weird, man. They get real funky real quick. So, I could see this flopping either way, but I don't know. I think I'd be hard-pressed to hear an argument for why the Raiders are going to win this game. So, chat, let us know.
John,
okay.
Let's you go ahead first. I'll let you finish. But
chat, do you think the Raiders can win this game? And if so, why? And if you don't, play devil's advocate and tell us why you think they could potentially win, even if you don't have any faith in them.
So let's do something here. This is live on the fly. Let's do this during the playoffs, right? So let's each give our case. Like, let's say we differed, right? Let's say the Raiders do you like the Bengals? Let's each come together and try to form an answer. So we have to come to one answer on who we think is going to win. So this one's easy. We're going to say it's the Bengals. But for all the matchups, let's come in there and we got to see whose case is going to end up winning it. And I'm going to come out there to the catch too, guys. Let us know in the chat what you're thinking, just like John said, so that we can really get that best answer. So we can come back to this, right, in a week, or we can just keep reflecting on the fact that, like, oh shit, this is what we thought. This is what actually happened. It's just like a cool way to keep engaged with it. But and I also want to say too, maybe also what we should do is just like every single time we go through a game, we get in the chat to see what their answers were.
Sure. And I think ultimately it boils down to quarterback play. And I think Burrow has a better day.
Yeah.
But Andrew making a good point here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is Ronald making a good point. Any team can win any game in the playoffs. We've seen teams like the Giants limp and make 2 Super Bowls. It's absolutely true. You never know, right? And these teams had the same record. And I mean, the Bengals had like towards the end of the middle of the season, kind of a slump where people were starting to get worried about them as a whole. So, anything can happen. It's absolutely true. Prey saying he has to have surgery. Prey, we hope you have a speedy recovery there, my dude.
Yes, seriously, man.
Good to see you here tonight as well. All right. Saturday night, 8:15. I'm going to try and stream during this game as well, just so you guys are aware. You can hang out and watch this game. We got the New England Patriots 10-7 at the Buffalo Bills 11-6.
This is a very tough one.
This is tough.
It's a very tough one.
This is tough. When we look at these two teams, I mean, obviously they've played twice on the season, right? Let me pull that up. I got it right here. Okay. So let's see. They played week 1, 2, 3, 4. The Pats won 14-10. 5, 6, 7, 8. 12. Wait, when did they play the second time?
It was week 16, wasn't it? Week 16 or 17? Might have been 17, actually.
Wait.
Bill smashed the shit out of him. I know that. Josh Allen.
Oh yeah. 33-21.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, sorry. I don't know. Okay, I was looking at this in the wrong order. So that first reference is not correct. But anyways, so we've got two very different scores. 14-10. That was the windy, snow, icy wind game, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And then we had 33-21, where the Bills looked like they could have beaten anyone that day.
Yeah.
So we have two completely different scores, two completely different game scripts to look at. And this game is being played in Buffalo.
In Buffalo. Yep.
Yeah.
10-degree weather. Just looked it up. 10 degrees is what is expected to be.
Wow. But both these teams are used to playing the cold.
They are. I mean, we saw the first time they played, it was like the more adverse weather conditions, and that's when New England was able to play their game and just smash mouth football. But then we see when, Mac and Cheese has to be the guy a little bit. I mean, I just don't think he's at the level that Josh Allen is at all. Right now, the Bills are negative. The Bills are 4-point favorites in this game. Over under is 44. So this isn't a high over under. But if we saw anything out of Josh Allen in that game, is that this dude was coming up for this one. He was like, nah, well, we're not losing 2 in a row to these guys. I'm going to prove I'm that guy. And what the Bills did, and I think what the Bills need to do, is that every single play, it's in Josh Allen's hands. We're not doing this running shit to Devin Singletary, even though he's been playing well. It's either Josh Allen running or it's Josh Allen throwing. It's one of the two, because that's when this Bills offense is that electric. If he makes the right reads, he'll take the short shit that New England has to give him because of how big his arm is. Or he'll say, no, I'm going to pull it down, I'm going to run the ball. I think that's the key to winning this game.
I do think it comes down to quarterback play. And I like me some Mac Jones. I do. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. I'm all about Mac and Cheese. Been all about him since.
Not better than Davis Mills.
Okay. Okay. Oh, man. I mean, I like the Bills. I've believed in them. A couple of weeks ago, I said that I think that they're a playoff threat. They're a playoff team. I said the same thing about the Colts. So who knows?
Fuck you.
I did, though. I'm just being real.
I
really did. I really thought that they were going to be a team that would be able to beat the Jaguars. But I got to go with the Bills here, man.
Yeah.
But it's so close. And really, when we look at the last 2 times that they matched up against each other, the Patriots are capable of doing it. But I think that the weather in that first matchup really, really benefited the Patriots and really, really did not benefit the Bills. And And really, I think the next most important factor in this game is what type of defense do we see from both these teams, right?
Mhm.
What shows up for the Bills, because the Bills at points in the season have been an elite defensive squad. And at points in the season, I mean, their run defenses look non-existent, like the first time they played the Patriots, right? And in terms of the Patriots, I mean, they've been good all season long, right?
Yeah.
They've been elite at times, and they haven't ever really been. Probably their worst performance was against the Bills.
Yeah.
The second time they played.
You could definitely make that statement.
Which maybe doesn't fare well for them in this game. But I don't know. I could see this being a really low scoring game too.
The weird thing is that when you actually look at the arc of Allen's career, is that he's actually played worse at home. So, especially in these division matchups and against New England. So it's kind of weird, but I think that also, maybe mitigates the home field advantage for this Bills team. But I just think that this team, this Bills squad, I think they're going to get it done. Bill Belichick and his son Steve, obviously they carry a shit ton of weight, and I can trust them in any matchup, right? But at a certain point, it also comes down to who's on the field, and that's where I think the Bills have a massive advantage in terms of the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs combo, as opposed to Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne combo, right? Like it's just like it can come down to that at a certain point. And we saw this Bills defense slide back a little bit when Tre'Davious White went down. But they've had time to grow since then. I think we've seen that on the field as well, that this defense is starting to play with a little more oomph in their step, and they've gotten a little bit more chemistry.
And the Patriots have had some grueling performances this year. I mean, they won 35-0 in week 2. Sorry, Ronald, against the Eagles. They won 45-7 against the Browns, 25-0 against the Falcons. That was a good two week stretch. And the week before that, 24-6 against the Panthers. 50-10 against the Jags. They did lose this past week, though. Sorry, I have to mention this. When I Google New England Patriots schedule, it gives me like this little blurb on. I don't think this is Google because I'm using my wife's laptop. This is Microsoft Bing, because it's a Microsoft computer. It's showing me a former players list. I just want to read you this former players list, okay? Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Antonio Brown, Jared Stidham.
What a group of guys right there.
Legend right there.
Stidham deserves it, man. The old Auburn gunslinger.
Yeah, legend for the Panthers. Let's see here real quick. Kyle, what's good, bro? Appreciate you coming out tonight. I'm a sad Fins fan. Y'all thought on the fire and the floors and the interviewing of Bill's offense coordinator and all the other guys were interviewing. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit towards the beginning of the segment here, and then we both like Brian Flores a lot. So
yeah,
I can see where that makes you a sad Fins fan for sure. Stefan Twiggs, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you coming out tonight, man. Good to see you. Truman, hope you're doing well, man. Appreciate you being up in the chat. Ronald, want to hear something fun? I was looking back at past seasons, and in 2017, I had Josh Allen, who I sat for Carson Wentz in the championship game, won the game too. Nice. Derek Benny, what's going on? Appreciate you coming out tonight. Hope you're doing well. Sorry, I did not mean to. Did I burn the Dolphins?
Hell no, we burned the Dolphins, man.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a weird matchup. This is a great matchup. Divisional matchup. It's gonna be a good one for sure.
Do you have any thoughts for Prey over here? So any good elite card suggestions for my new team players?
Is that in Madden Prey, or is that like a DFS thing? Let me know. I don't know any. I'll try and figure something out. Yeah.
I definitely Madden on that, man. You got deep into that world, bro.
I have gone pretty deep. Yeah, I'd have to take a look. Geno Smith is in the building. What's up, bro? I was arrested today. Nice. Okay.
Dude, yeah, he was, bro. Geno was arrested. That was I forget
really?
Yeah, what he went down for. I think it was like a DUI or something. I saw that. It was in my Apple. It was in my Apple News, bro. It was like all these like really serious things, and it was like,
Holy shit.
yeah. Did you see what it said?
He was driving 96 miles per hour, refused a breathalyzer before suspicion of DUI arrest. Well, thankfully he didn't harm anyone. Thankfully he's okay. But
And he
that's
made fun of
ridiculous.
the cops' manly parts, I guess.
That's always a good move. Classic Gino.
Yeah, that'll get you out of the arrest, Gino.
Stober, what's up, guys? What's going on, bro? Let's go Raiders. Jerry, my good friend got her heart broken by a Raiders fan. I hope they lose. Oh shoot, it's Gino. Yeah, Jerry, it's your favorite quarterback. Well, DUI, I was drinking and driving. Hee hee.
I love this, dude. I love that Gino's in the chat, man. How's jail right now, dude? Is it a pain in the ass? They giving you good food over there, Gino? Not like that broken jaw, hopefully.
Let's see here. So Pat's Bills. I think we're both in agreement with the Bills. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I jotted down. I thought it was already a fact.
Okay. Whew. I won't be surprised if mac and cheese comes up. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely one of the tougher games on the slate this weekend.
Yeah. All right, we got Philadelphia Eagles 9-8 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This will be a fun one.
13-4. Bruce Arians says it is a travesty if Tom Brady does not win the MVP. Early predictions: Jalen Hurts might have 200 rushing yards versus the Buccaneers in the wild card game. That's an interesting prediction. Okay, so biggest factor here that we've already heard about tonight, that we hear about pretty frequently in the past couple of weeks, ever since that game against the Saints for the Bucs, is just injuries, man.
Yeah,
just injuries. Richard Sherman is on IR, in case you're interested in that topic. Shaq Barrett has been activated from the COVID-19 list. That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. We'll just do this real quick. Former players: Jameis Winston, Chris Godwin. Apparently Chris Godwin's a former player. Josh Freeman, Steven's favorite. Mike Evans, who's also apparently a former player, and Warren Sapp. Okay, there we go. The Bears. The Bears have requested a head coach interview with
Brian Leftwich, yeah.
Both the Buccaneers coordinators,
yeah.
both of them. So, what's his freaking name? I'm looking at a picture of him. The Jets. He coached for the Jets too.
Yeah, Todd Bowles.
Thank you. It was really bothering me. So yeah. Listen, Tom Brady can get it done, in my opinion, with anyone.
Yes, he can. He can.
With anyone. But at the same time, I'm a little worried about the Bucs, but I don't doubt them at all. I do not doubt this team throughout the playoffs at all.
Ronald, I want you to give me a case to why the Eagles won this game. Because, John, I want to break this one down a little bit in particular.
It's a good game, man.
Right now, this is a 8.5 point favorite for Tampa, and I don't think it deserves to be 8.5 points. I think this game is going to be close.
I've been saying for weeks that I want to see the Eagles in the playoffs.
Dude, I tell you what, Tampa, what have they been doing recently? Their run D is getting weaker. It is not the same D. This offense is not hitting its stride. The Eagles are actually pretty decent against the air. They can limit these receivers that are already banged up. Mike Evans is a walking corpse out there. Yeah, and Mike Evans is a walking corpse, bro. Eagles, they beat them in the Super Bowl. But I think here's the thing. With all the injuries that the Buccaneers have, the Eagles right now are running at such a good pace. I think if they are smart, right, if Sirianni coaches this team right, they do not try to do too much through the air. They just run the ball, take points when you can get them, play good defense, let Fletcher Cox anger Tom Brady. I think this is a game, bro. Dead ass. If this was in Philly, I would pick Philly. It's in Tampa, though. So I'm picking Tampa.
I think, man, Philly's been great. Like, for what they've been given, for what they've had on the year. They clinched the playoffs 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Philly's had a good season. Like Ronald's brought up in the chat, right? Nick Sirianni's first year, who I like by the way a lot as a head coach. I like Nick Sirianni.
Everybody hated him at first.
Yeah, because it's just so random. I mean, it's like, who's this Colts special team kicker coach? What did he do with the Colts?
I think he was OC actually, but
I don't think he was. I think he was like a quarterback assistant coach.
whatever.
Um, I like Nick Sirianni though, but I mean, yeah, this team, the Eagles, they run the football great. They do lead the league in rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. They set a franchise record for most rushing yards in the season as well, if I'm not mistaken. I like Jalen Hurts, man. I like Jalen Hurts all season, man. I don't get the hate on Jalen Hurts. I'm glad that Eagles fans are converting to Jalen Hurts fans and not wanting him out of there because I've always thought that he's been a good fit. I think Devonta Smith is a great receiver, great young receiver. He's definitely got a lot to improve, but this Tampa Bay secondary is awful.
Mhm.
Let's be real. It's awful. The run defense has been slipping up. They've got all kinds of injuries on the offense. So there's a lot of reasons to make a case against them. But at the end of the day, you got Tom Brady.
I'm going Tampa here, but I think this game could actually be a lot like last year with Washington and
Yeah,
Tampa.
yeah.
I think it's a very similar type of game in terms of what we're going to see in the spread, and that Tom Brady might not have a good game. I think the most important player in this game is actually going to be whoever's playing running back for the
I was about
Bucks.
to say, is Leonard? Let me check.
I don't think Fournasti is going to be in the game. I think it's going to be a hybrid mix of Vaughn, Rojo, and
Bell.
Lev Bell. Honestly, Lev Bell, who scored last week, but he's going to be important, bro, because I tell you this: if Tom Brady has to throw it 50 times, which he's done before this year, I don't think the Bucks are putting themselves in the right spot to win the game. The Eagles have become a very sure run defense over the back half of the year, but you got to take some weight off of Tom Brady because if you let Fletcher Cox and this defense kind of pin back their ears and get at the quarterback, bro, that is how they're going to lose this game.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything other than the Buccaneers are optimistic that Fournette will come back, but I haven't seen like any concrete update at all.
Yeah, they want it.
So I don't know what's happening there at all. I don't know if we'll see Leonard Fournette out there at all. But oh man,
Fletcher Fox.
yeah. Let's see what Ronald has to say about the matchup. Okay. They will win this game because you need to control the Eagles through the run. They're going to be strapped at running back. The Eagles have gotten better against the run as of late. They can just wear the D down with time possession. That can limit Brady's time. They just wear the D down until Hurts just runs all over them. Yeah. It's a fair argument. Ronald, do you think that the Eagles will win this game? It's the next
Championship
question.
DNA in Jalen Hurts too. He
Yeah.
did it at Bama, and he had a hell of a career at Oklahoma. This is a guy who doesn't show emotion whether he wins or loses. This guy's just he's got the moxie. He's got it. He's got that playoff swagger for sure coming out of that Bama Oklahoma system.
Chat, do you guys think that the Eagles win this game or the Bucks win this game? Let us know.
A lot of comments in here too about whether Bruce Arians is right, Tom Brady, or is it Aaron Rodgers? I think that's also a little sneaky debate too, because for me, it's like Aaron Rodgers without question. But we'll see if Tom Brady gets the award. If the media don't like Aaron Rodgers, so we'll see.
We've been talking about a potential Tom Brady MVP since the preseason.
We have, but
this is our second podcast.
I know, but then you start. I don't know. It's really hard because it's gonna be tough for A-Rod to win back to backs, but I kind of feel like he's the guy. He deserves it. I mean, we've seen how bad this Packers team is for Jordan Love. Like they fucking suck, bro. Like honestly, like Aaron Rodgers should have just came back into the game at the end of that game and tried to win it.
He looked like he wanted to.
Just to submit his MVP status.
Listen to him on the Pat McAfee show today when I was eating lunch, and I'm not Listen, I did get one thing from the interview today. He's on there every Tuesday. So
Yeah.
him and Matt LaFleur, I think, have a lot of respect for each other, actually, which I think a lot of people had speculation about. But I think that they actually have a really good relationship. But so I thought that was cool to hear him talk about. But also, I'm not quite sure he's going to be a Packer next year, the way he's kind of talking.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really not. I'm really not
Like
sure.
retirement, or he's gonna walk?
No, I think he's going to walk somewhere else.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of fun to talk about that in the offseason.
It's
I know that.
speculation, though.
Yeah,
Speculation.
that's speculation in this chat.
Yeah. I think Eagles win. They do best as underdogs, and they kind of have Brady's number over the course. Whew. Tom Brady wins. It ain't the MVP's most vaccinated player where his vaccine
Yeah.
status may screw him. Sure.
It dead ass might. It dead ass might. And Spencer, I also saw you asked, did we talk about the Colts already? I think Prey mentioned something above there too. Yeah, we talked about the Colts like in the very beginning, and just that I was like, obviously, devastated about that loss. It's just going to be. This is like where you got to start putting all the chips up front. Frank Reich, Chris Ballard. This team has got to. We've got to win next year, and we got to win a lot. Like we got to win multiple playoff games, or else, even though Reich and Ballard just got extended, there could be a lot of shakeups because we're going to lose some of our young talent. We need a new fucking quarterback. Even though Carson Wentz is probably going to be our guy next year, we need to do something. Draft a late quarterback or something because we need some competition. Because Carson Wentz he's a mental midget. He can't win in the big moments. He just never has.
It's kind of harsh, man.
Yeah, well, Carson, if you're out there, I'm upset. Okay, dude, I'm upset.
So week 6, the Eagles and Bucks played. The Bucks won 28-22.
So close.
So Ronald's saying they won early, but it wasn't Brady, it was Lenny. Yeah, that's when the Eagles' run defense, which is still bad, was playing like at its worst on the season.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the Bucks.
I'm a losing betting man right now, but I kind of want to like a good bet might be to just take the spread plus 8.5 for the Eagles. Like that's pretty nice. Not bad. But yeah, Bucks is what you're going with.
I gotta go Bucks here.
Okay. All right. I'm straight with that too. I think we both really like the narrative for the Eagles, but we're gonna ride with Tom Brady. He deserves it.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting one that's up next.
Niners at Cowboys. This is a tough one to call. Niners 10-7, Cowboys 12-5. Ooh, the San Francisco Niners team, man, showed a big time last week. Down 17, rallied all the way back. Game-sealing interception, cap off the game. Listen, I like me some Deebo Samuel. I think Ayuk's a fine receiver. I think it's trending towards Jimmy G playing as starting quarterback in this game. Whoever ends up running the football, whether it's a combination of Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell or Eli Mitchell, and Jeff Wilson, right? Whoever's out there, doesn't matter. They're going to run the football, and they do it quite well. Then you got Kittle, right? And I think Kittle's a huge factor into the Niners, potentially being able to win this game, right? If Kittle has a good night, I think that the Niners have a much better opportunity overall, right? Then you look at the Cowboys, man, and I'm sticking with my gut here. I've talked about the Cowboys for a few weeks now as being a real playoff threat. And I think they are a playoff threat.
Okay.
When this offense is humming, like we've seen it, been over the past couple of weeks. This defense doesn't have to do as much, but when this defense needs to do as much, they do it. I just think the Cowboys are a good team. I really do. And I don't think the Niners are a bad team. I think they've had a great finish to their season. And I still think this game could be really close.
Yeah. It's McCarthy. It's McCarthy, dude.
I think Shanahan's better coach than McCarthy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, saying that Mike McCarthy's going to come in there and outcoach Kyle Shanahan and the Cowboys aren't going to choke in the playoffs, it's really hard. It's
I don't
really
even think
hard.
that
It's really
dude,
hard.
he doesn't even coach, okay?
Obviously he doesn't coach, but I'm
No,
just
you've
saying,
got
like,
their coordinators coach.
it doesn't at all spook you. I mean, they are favored in this game by 3 points. The
They do
Niners are underdogs.
this game spooks me. I think the Niners are a really good underdog candidate. This defense has been underrated on the season. They have their faults, don't get me wrong,
Deebo
but I
Samuel can literally obliterate any player on this Cowboys team. Like
that's true. Because I
Parsons,
mean,
Diggs, it doesn't
yeah,
fucking matter.
Diggs plays off the ball, right? I mean, he allows guys to burn him, right? Because he
Yeah.
jumps the ball. You've talked about that on the year, right? And I don't think that's a good method versus Steve Samuel, right? And also he can run the damn football. And like I said, I think Kittle, man, if Kittle has a big game, I'm really worried for the Cowboys. But I think this might be the toughest game to call out of the bunch, truthfully.
Have you seen, like, have you, like, watched, like, whenever they put Deebo at running back, the way he runs it, like, he gets that rock, and when there is a starting NFL linebacker coming at him, he literally blows through the linebacker and
Yeah,
then moves forward to go attack the next guy. I mean,
yeah,
he is a night. This dude is crazy good at
yeah.
break tackles. I mean, he's nuts. What is his Madden rating for breaking tackles? It's gotta be like 99.
Yeah, I don't know what the update is, but I'm sure it's got to be higher. Um, I don't know, man. This is so tough to call. I think
Yeah.
when you look at the Niners offense, you could argue they're a little bit easier to start, but or stop, excuse me. But at the same time, I don't quite know because if the run game gets going, especially if Debo's not as involved in the run game, like if you get Mitchell going, and then you've got Debo, in terms of pass catching abilities out there, you got if Ayuk can show up, that's huge. Then you got Kittle hanging around. Like there's a lot of mismatches here if they can get the run game going without Debo. And I love this Cowboys defense. They've been phenomenal all year. Oh man, but it's just tough. Then you look at the Cowboys offense, right? What are your issues with the Cowboys offense, if you have any, right?
What are mine?
Yeah.
I think it's Dak's inconsistencies over the season. Now, historically, I can point back to his time in the playoffs, and I could say he's not a choke artist. Like, I feel like Dak shows up for the big games in the playoffs. Uh, I, for some reason, just have this like remembrance of him in the playoffs starting off slow and finishing hot, and it's always too late. Um, but I do have the faith there. I have the faith in Dak. I don't have the faith in Zeke to be 100p ready for this game. I don't have the faith in CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Cedric to be as good as they really are because over the year they've definitely been hot and cold, right?
Mhm.
So I think inconsistency is really my question with this Cowboys offense. But when it really comes down to it, if they do show up, this is in Dallas. This is the lowest staking playoff game that you can have, being the first one. So that if they show up, they can beat this 49ers team by 2 touchdowns. So
I guess
if
go ahead.
you like, I think saying the Cowboys here, it makes sense why they're the favorites, and it makes sense why your inclination was the Cowboys. Because the only reason I'm saying the 49ers is because of like, I'm a fan of football. I've watched football for years on end now. And at a certain point, when you just see the most talented team continually lose because of the organization and the culture that they have, you have to pay attention to that. They haven't won in our lifetime, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and they've always been really fucking good. Like, whether you got uh, freaking, DeMarco Murray back there with Terrell Owens and Tony Romo, Jason Witten, or you got, Dak Prescott and all the guys he's had in his career already. I mean, they've had better teams than this team, honestly. I mean, the defense is really hot right now, but I don't know. And I mean, like, some people might be looking at that without actually watching the game. Some people might look at that Cowboys Eagles game that just happened and see like, oh, 50 points, 5 touchdowns from Dak. Bro, they were playing like backups. Like
Yeah, that's true.
but like to me, it's like, I don't know. Like it's just hard for me. I can if you think the Cowboys are gonna win this game, I can't prove you otherwise, right? I can't get you out of this one.
Kyle says he's taking the Niners. What's up, Kyle? Ronald says, I'll take the Niners because Cowboys suck. When was the last time Dallas won the playoff game? And
Yeah.
You can't really argue against it because I don't remember the last time they won a playoff game.
And the Niners went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago with Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy G, and maybe a relatively similar offense. I mean, actually, they were more explosive back then. They probably had a better team. I don't know if this is still a Super Bowl squad, but they do still have George Kittle, right? Who's fully healthy. They've got Debo Samuel, who's, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL right now. I don't know. I think they do have the pieces right now to win this game, especially coaching.
Yeah. It's tough. I'm down to pick the Niners with you though, if that's where you're at.
Why don't we?
Because I could go back and forth on this one.
Let's put the Niners down and let's flag it and come back to it if we need to.
Okay. We've got an asterisk here.
Yeah, we'll flag it.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We've got the Steelers and the Chiefs. 8-15. The Steelers 9-7-1. The Chiefs 12-5. Sunday night.
Chiefs. Chiefs. You want to know what the spread is on this game?
Yeah, I do.
12.5 points.
Wow.
They're expecting a blowout, bro.
Okay, let's play some devil's advocate, right?
Let's do it. I'm excited, bro.
How could the Steelers win this game?
I'll let you go.
TJ Watt. Yeah. TJ Watt. Okay. Yeah. And then
just keep saying that. TJ Watt. Yeah. TJ Watt.
And Najee Harris gets loose.
Yeah.
Jason Kenobi, what's up, bro? Just saw you in the chat. Good to see you, bro. Those are like the only two ways. If Big Ben just has the most freaking game managing game of his freaking career, he doesn't make any mistakes. Deontay Johnson makes some plays. Listen, I'll put it this way. Last week, the Broncos almost beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, second stringers and things out there. Chiefs were trying to win that football game, and Drew Lock had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, that was weird. That was
I don't think Ben's going to do that this year, but or this week, I should say. But I'm not completely counting out the Steelers.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say something before you keep going here.
Sure.
So two things you said.
Okay.
Najee Harris has a good game. He breaks out. Ben Roethlisberger is a good game manager. Let's look back at the last time they played. Chiefs won 36-10.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger had 159 yards and a touchdown. He did have 1 pick, but definitely had worse games this season. Najee Harris had 93 rushing yards and had 20 yards receiving. That's an over 100-yard from scrimmage game from Najee, and they still got beat by 26 points.
How did TJ Watt play that game?
TJ Watt.
Was he inactive? No, he was hurt.
No, he had no sacks and he had a tackle.
See, that's a bad game by TJ Watt.
It is bad game. It is bad game. I'll say this. I do agree. I think the case for Pittsburgh, without spending too much time on this game when it's not needed, but here's the case for it, right? Like you mentioned, it's TJ Watt. Yeah. TJ Watt has to be a difference maker here. He has to be an X factor. He has to get to Mahomes. He has to shut him down. I think the Steelers have a good secondary. So Mahomes has made a shit ton of mistakes this year. And I think if they come in here like they came against Denver and they just overlook this game, Pittsburgh can easily hang in this one, because if they rattle Patrick Mahomes' cage and TJ Watt gets a sack, fumble, and this team starts heating up, bro, this culture in Pittsburgh is one of the best in the league, and I think they're going to want to hang around. I don't see Big Ben winning this for sure. It's unfortunate because I think maybe matched up against one of the other teams in the playoffs, he would have had a chance, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. I think this is like probably a 10-point win for Kansas City here.
Yeah, I'm going to KC as well.
I want to hear some of the comments on this for sure, though.
Big Ben gets 2 rush touchdowns. I'm buying a Big Ben jersey. We got Santa Claus and Brian Flores in the chat tonight as well, and we've had Geno Smith. So all kinds of exciting figures in the chat tonight. Go
good.
Niners for Santa Claus. What's up, Santa Claus? Ronald, our Big Ben has that movie hero moment where he gives it all he can for one last game before losing the next game badly. So just glance over that in the movie. This Kansas City team has crumble in the playoffs written all over them this year.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City's all right, man. I'm not worried about them personally. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though. I tried to play devil's advocate. Didn't sound like anyone had confidence in me.
Hey, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. I think the biggest argument is that they almost lost the Broncos last week, but we're just 3 weeks removed now from the last time they played the Steelers, and like you alluded to, they absolutely destroyed the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to the Bengals 2 weeks ago. Okay. They
totally
beat the Chargers in overtime 4 weeks ago. And then they had a really good stretch before that. I mean, they beat the Raiders 48-9, Broncos 22-9, the Cowboys 19-9. They beat up on the Raiders 41-14. Gosh, they just had the Raiders definitely don't want to see the Chiefs in the playoffs. Man.
No.
They barely beat the Packers, but they beat them nonetheless. They beat the Giants by 3 points isn't awful. There had to be some garbage time points sprinkled in there for the Giants. But the Tennessee Titans beat up on them end of October 27-3. So you have a lot of up and downs with this Chiefs team. But I don't think I don't think we're going to argue against them,
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win this one. And to Ronald's point, I think this is a team that is going to crumble at some point in the playoffs because of the cockiness that they have. I think this team needs a good slice of humble pie. And it sucks because Mahomes is probably one of my favorite players in the game. Very quickly, once the Chiefs go down, a lot of my favorite players aren't going to be in the playoffs this year. So it'll be interesting because I think we're going to see some new stars, which makes this playoffs a little bit more exciting in that regard. But I know the next matchup we got here is going to be a sweet one.
I'm sticking with my guns, guys. I think the Chiefs are fine. I think that they will make it to the championship game at worst. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that.
But just remember that TJ Watt is good at football. So that's how it works. You destroy a team, you get cocky, you play again, and the team you destroy comes back to make you look foolish. That's probably true. That's probably true. I'm trying to pull up. Okay, never mind. All right, let's move on to the Monday night game. Let's move on.
First off, Monday night playoffs.
Woo.
What do you think about that? What's your thoughts? I'm personally not a huge fan of this.
I like that we don't have two games happening at once. What we used to have. Did we ever have two games on the Saturday? I think we did a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2 games Saturday. I mean, that's what happened. And they pivoted to Monday night now. See you guys. See you later, Steven. Have a good one.
Peace out, Steven. Thanks for coming by, man. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I don't mind it. I don't care, dude. I just don't want them to add any more games to the regular season. There's no reason to have more than 18 games. 18 games is a stretch. Okay, I need to stop touching my eye.
Oh my gosh. It's also interesting that I feel like we've seen less positive cases in the NFL over the past week. It's like, I mean, outside of the Cowboys in a meaningless game, it'll be interesting to see what the cases are like during the playoffs. Because as Ronald says, that's bullshit for TV ratings. I don't think the NFL is going to like people being out for COVID, and I don't want to see a Wednesday playoff game. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. Cardinals 11-6, Rams 12-5. I still have something in my eye, so guys, just ignore me. It's starting to get pretty bad, but
we'll get to Sotober's comment before we get to the Cards while you're fleecing your eye over there. Keeping Chase on my fantasy team next season. He was drafted around 10. Yeah, dude, John and I talked about this when we were doing the season awards. The best dynasty player, best keeper league player, because where you drafted him and the value he has, the best comparison is Justin Jefferson the year before, but this is probably even better. Jamar Chase is, I mean, dude, that is going to improve your team so much next year. It's a great keeper pick.
Absolutely. The Rams were almost 13-4.
I hate the Rams this year, bro.
Ooh.
I hate them so much, dude.
Rams coach McVay on week 18 lost to Niners. We're going to choose to say it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did you see him celebrating when they got up 17-0? He ran into the end zone.
Yeah, I did
like
see that.
McVay,
actually.
dude. I like McVay.
I like him too, but
he's like a young Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
Pete Carroll was
that's
like
a really
winning
good comparison.
when he was winning football games, you know.
That's a really good comparison, actually.
That energy he brings on the sideline, you know.
Yeah. He doesn't chew gum like Pete Carroll, though.
Gosh, no, he doesn't.
Nobody chews gum like Pete Carroll, bro. That guy sticks a whole pack of juicy fruit or whatever in his mouth, and he goes to town.
Yeah, he sure does. Oh, Pete. I think he's going to stay at the Hawks, but
Texas
we'll find out.
Yeah, I hope so. I love Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Listen. Okay. We look at these two teams. You got two humming offenses that are a little bit inconsistent, but have both done enough to win at least 11 games. You got two defenses that ain't bad, but have been inconsistent as well. And I don't know what to make of this game.
I don't either. I don't either. And I don't think it matters at all where it was being played either, because the Cards suck at home. Rams holding field advantage is más o menos, doesn't really mean a ton. Rams are 4-point favorites in this game. And I don't know, man. I will say this. No, I'll say this, bro. I think it's the Cards because, and dude, I'm going to sound like the most anti-Stafford guy in the room, but I think it's the Cards because of Matt Stafford. And I do think there has got to be an injury going on. But dude, this guy sucked over the last month. Like, sucked. And like that last pass to OBJ to get picked off to end the game, he underthrew OBJ. Like, that was a touchdown if he threw it the right way. I mean, come on, Matt, staph infection, bro. This is what we need, bro. You can't just come to a really good team and not raise the roof. I mean, they gave everything to get you, man.
It's a fair argument, but I like the Rams. I really do.
Why?
I do.
Why do you like Rams?
It's, you know, to be honest, I don't have a strong case. It's just a gut feeling. Okay. I've liked them kind of all season, you know, but I like the Cardinals as well. But I just, oh man, it's tough. Both these head coaches to some degree are kind of similar. Kingsbury really got the job because they were looking for another,
yeah, exactly,
a mini Sean McVay. You know, I don't know, man. This is going to be a great game to end the wild card weekend with. There's no doubt about it.
I'm trying to see here, trying to pull up the games that they've had this year.
I got them right here.
Go through.
Yeah. So when they played each other, is what you mean?
Yeah, this year. Was it in October and December?
Cardinals, right? October 3rd, won 37-20.
Okay.
December 13th, the Rams won 30-23.
Yep.
So you got two very different games there.
Wow. Chase Edmonds in the first game where they won had 120 rushing yards. James Conner had 18 carries for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns, of course, because he's a touchdown machine. The Rams, they had a good game too. Matt Stafford did have the pick against them, but I think that was like a game where they both really showed up. I mean, they showed up in both games for sure. But I remember that second matchup, man. Matt Stafford really just let it loose in that one, and Kyler Murray sucked.
The Rams lost. No, wait, that's okay. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at
The January
preseason.
one?
No, looking
Yeah.
at preseason, I was like, the Rams lost week 1, 13-6 against the Chargers. Like, I don't remember that happening at all. No, they played the Bears week 1. That's right, Sunday Night Football. They destroyed them, and then they played the Colts week 2 and beat them. Sorry, I'm way off topic, but this is a tough game to call. Chat, what do you guys think? Cardinals or Rams? Who you guys got and why? Uh, listen, I totally get picking the Cardinals. I totally get it, and I like this Cardinals team. I really do. I think whoever wins this game is a legitimate threat throughout the
Yeah.
rest of the playoffs. There's a point in the season where we were saying the Rams were the best team in the NFL. There's a point in the season where we were saying the Cardinals were the best team in the NFL. So
Yeah.
you could really make an argument either way. Early on, the Cardinals defense was elite. They've kind of sizzled off throughout the season. The Rams defense has been disappointing, but they're still a good enough defense. This offense loses Robert Woods. It gains OBJ. He's played very well for them. The run game all season long, whether it's been Henderson or Michelle, they've gotten it done for the Rams. Cooper Kupp has had an astronomical year. The biggest inconsistency has been Matthew Stafford. And that's probably goes for the entire team, defense included. We look at the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, when healthy, has been phenomenal. At the beginning of the season, he was fully healthy. Didn't last very long. Didn't last very long, but if it did, he'd probably be the clear front runner for MVP for a lot of different reasons. The run game for the Cardinals has been good all season long between Edmonds and Connor. Wide receiver, you've had a lot of inconsistency, though. A lot. I think I would say both these teams have mediocre tight end play. But
Higbee balled out last
I'll take
week.
that back because Ertz has played very well for them.
Yeah.
But they're not, I mean, it's not like they have like a George Kittle out there or anything, you know? And Higbee's been playing good as of late. Him and Stafford seem to finally have a connection going, which we thought they'd have all season long. So this is just a tough call. And I'll pick the Rams just due to gut feeling. But like I said, I'm not going to be surprised if the Cardinals win. And whoever comes out of this, I think, is a legitimate threat throughout the rest of the playoffs for sure.
So I'll let you get the deciding call here because I took the 49ers last time. But let me just ask you this question. 1 minute left. Got to get down the field. Who do you trust? Kyler Murray or Matt Stafford? 1 minute. 1 minute. And then we're talking about right now, not career, not last year, not in the middle of the season. We're talking about right now.
I probably pick Kyler Murray.
I think that's what it comes down to. I really do. Because
this could be a 1-point game, dude.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to be 7 points or less. I really think it's going to be one score, right? It could be a 1-point game, even. But I think that really the thing that kind of narrows it down for me is like when I look at Matt Stafford over these past couple weeks, past month now, he's been very turnover prone. I think defenses are known how to scheme him. Maybe they're following that approach that Tennessee did, where they just bum rush the middle and make him have to try to get outside and make some plays. And he just hasn't been able to do it over the back stretch. But I mean, even at San Fran, I mean, obviously he had the glaring pick at the end of the game to lose it, but he had 2 picks in that game.
Yeah.
And this shit just can't happen, bro. So yeah, for me, I'm going with the Cards because I think the Rams defense sucks. I think the Cards can drive the ball down their throat with James Conner and with Chase Edmonds.
I do like Conner.
Yeah, and I think Kyler Murray is going to be able to break out to the outside. He's going to be able to make plays. I mean, do you remember what he did against the Colts when he broke off that like 65-yard run? I mean, the dude, he's back from injury and he's ready to play. I don't know. I like him. I like Kyler Murray as a winner throughout his career as opposed to Matt Stafford. That's another thing.
You don't like Matt Stafford anymore, do you?
I don't know if I do, bro. Honestly, I really don't know if I do.
It's kind of messed up.
I mean, I will say this, like, for all the shit I've been talking about him recently, like, maybe I do need to reevaluate my thoughts on Matt Stafford.
I mean, I guess the Rams are coming off of a loss to the 49ers in a competitive game script, right? This is so tough to call. This is so
Yeah.
difficult.
And you can almost try to like make that call of saying like, oh, they're coming off of a tough loss. They're going to come back hungry for the next week. Like, I don't know if you can like necessarily just bake that in because the Rams have lost back-to-back games before this season. Like the Rams have not been who we thought they were all season. I mean, I talk about it a little bit when I'm talking about the must-draft defenses for next season. This is a defense that is going to grow a lot. This is a team that's going to grow a lot, but they were kind of all hodgepodge together. And I think that's why they had so many inconsistencies all year.
The Cardinals, the last 4 weeks, 38-30, lost to the Seahawks. 25-22, a slight win over the Cowboys, still a good win. A loss to the Colts, 22-16, and a loss to the Lions, 30-12.
Yeah.
And go back 5 weeks, a 7-point loss to the Rams. So it's
you know what, brother? You might have swayed me.
Those are some.
You might have swayed me because I do believe in Sean McVay. They do believe in Sean McVay, and I don't believe in Matt Staff infection, but they don't need to win with Matt Stafford necessarily either. I think if Sean McVay's smart, I think they rely on the ground, and they also just try to feed Cooper Kupp the quickest way possible, just get the ball in his hands. And what we saw in the second time that they matched up was that Cooper Kupp can decimate this Cardinals defense. I think I forgot until you really. I knew they got on a really bad cold spell, but I think until you really put it in front of me, I didn't realize who they played, how they lost, and how consistently they lost.
I mean, you go before those couple of games, right? Oh, okay. It's a little inconsistent there too.
They got on a real cold streak, man.
Because you beat the Bears 32-22, beat the Hawks 22-13. You lost to the Panthers 34-10. I don't even remember that game. You beat the Niners 31-17. You lost to the Packers by 3 points. Remember AJ Green fade, lose again.
Yeah.
You destroyed the Texans 31-5. So I mean, you've got some inconsistency there as well. But I guess with playoffs, it's just so completely different, right? It's just so completely different.
Yeah. Kenobi talks about the line of being -4, a little too rich. I totally agree, and I think John, you agree too. This does deserve to be tighter. But kind of to Andrea's point and John's original point too is that I think the Rams. I think you proved me wrong, John. I think it is the Rams here. It's not a Rams by convincing, right? I mean, it's not like a convincing win.
Here, could you argue that it comes down to Cliff Kingsbury and Sean McVay?
Yeah, if it does, then I think that makes the picture a little easier. I really think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks and who doesn't screw up more. Yeah.
Sure. I could see Stafford screwing up more, though. I'm starting to convince myself out of the Rams.
Like, I don't think Stafford can bring this team to a Super Bowl. But I think I need to not let that impression and that strong belief make me too biased and too oversighted to see that the Rams still can win a game in the playoffs with him. Sure. Even though he's never done it in his entire career. I think he can win this one. But it's going to be interesting, like, the Vegas books and everything. I mean, they're putting a lot at stake, just thinking, oh, yeah, the fucking Matt Stafford-led Rams are going to be able to do something he's never done before. There a lot to be said to actually win a playoff game and to know how to win a playoff game. And he has not done that since being at Georgia.
I'll take the Rams. Don't talk me out of it.
And to circle back on the other one, the Niners, I'm submitting that. We're going with the Niners against the Cowboys.
Going with the Niners over the Cowboys. Okay.
So let's run through this because then I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Bengals, Raiders. We got the Bengals. Bills, Pats. We got the Bills. Bucks, Eagles. We got the Bucks, but upset of the week maybe. 49ers, Cowboys. We got the 49ers. So that's an upset. It's our only upset of all of these. Chiefs, Steelers, we have the Chiefs by a landslide. Rams, Cards, we got Rams and a squeaker. So, question to you is obviously Tennessee on bye week, Green Bay on bye week.
Yeah, so I was getting that. Yeah.
Yep. So, question is, and I'm gonna flag it here. My little notepad. Any of these teams, and if so, give me the team. Can't pick two, just one.
Just wait. You broke up for a second. Just one team that's capable of beating each team in the AFC and NFC. Number one.
No. One team to take it all. Is there one team here and the wild card to take it all
to roll them all?
Yeah. Okay.
The Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, I still believe in the Chiefs.
So you think
you can still roll the dice, say the Bucks, because they got Brady.
What about the Bills?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I don't mind the Bills.
No. All right, so your gut instinct is
okay. So a couple weeks ago, right? What was it 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah,
I gave you guys my top playoff teams, right? And I had the Bills on there. I had the Chiefs on there, and I had the Colts and I had the Patriots for the AFC. For the NFC, I had the Packers, I had the Cowboys, and I had the Rams. I didn't do a fourth one for some reason. I had the Bucks. That's who I had. Yeah. So Packers, Cowboys, Bucks, Rams. Okay. So yeah, I had 4 and 4. I will stick with those couple of teams, although I can't pick the Colts. So I had an asterisk around the Patriots, but I don't want to roll with them. I want to roll with the Bengals or the Titans because I'm still all over the place, though.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
When I asked you that question, I wanted to have fun and say the Bengals.
Yeah.
But I can't.
I don't think they're quite there. They're close, man.
They're there talent-wise. They're there. But they're not there coaching-wise. And they're not there just they need we've been there, we've lost. That type of scar you get that helps you learn for the next year.
They need some defense too.
Yeah, they do. And don't let my comment about Zach Taylor be as like a lie or a slight on him, bro. Like
Steven doesn't like Zach Taylor.
I actually hated that dude coming into the season. Like I talked mad shit about him. He really proved what's up. I mean, he was on the chopping block for sure this year, and he showed what's up. So mad respect to you, Zach. But not that my opinion matters at all to you.
First name basis, yeah.
But I'm gonna go with what Andrea's taken here and Ronald, the Bills. That's my squad this year.
I like the Bills, bro. I do.
I would not be, and here's the thing too, because I'm also kind of trying to navigate this, who's going to win it, right? Not just be there, but win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Bucks can get through Green Bay. I don't think the Rams can get through Green Bay. I don't think the Niners or the Cowboys can get through Green Bay. I think the NFC is going to be Green Bay this year. Spencer, shout out, my guy. So for me, it's an AFC team that I got to look at here to say that's who's going to make it there and win it out of these teams. And so it's the Bills. I'm going with Josh Allen, who I think is the best quarterback out of all of these this season, including Mahomes.
I mean, I'm not going to argue against the Bills. Yeah, I'd love to see Chiefs Bills. I really would. I think the Titans are kind of sneaky in here, though.
That's what I'm saying. If they were included in this list, I'd be talking about the Titans pretty vigorously, bro. Because
it's kind of crazy that they're the number 1 seed,
but they also might win the Super Bowl.
So they're gonna face the lowest remaining seed.
Yeah,
so it's very unlikely they face.
It'll be the Bengals by our calculations. I think
it will probably be the Bengals. Yeah, which I think will be a good game.
Yeah, but they'll beat the fucking Bengals, I think.
Yeah. And then what? They get the Chiefs or the Bills after that.
By our calculations. And if they get the Chiefs, what happened this year? I mean, obviously the Chiefs are slumping a little bit, but the Titans historically have had a great playbook against the Chiefs. They play them very well. And what we're seeing out of Deontay Foreman is this guy can play in place of Derrick Henry, but they're going to have their big boy back.
Henry might be back. Yeah.
No, he's going to be back.
He's going to be back. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to have him. They're going to have Foreman. I mean, Henry will be on, some sort of a spell count. Maybe actually, I don't know, bro. That's a hungry guy, dude. He wants those touches.
You know who played okay last week? It's Julio Jones.
Oh, Julio, yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, which I mean, they get Julio going, that'd be huge.
Yeah, he finally got a touchdown.
I know, finally. But no, I think it's a great way to kind of wrap off the evening, right? Is kind of getting into what are we expecting from the Titans and the Packers. And I agree with you on the Packers, man.
Yeah,
I think the Packers are the best team in the NFC. They've just got
I think they're the best team in the NFL.
A different flair to that team right now. Like, we will get it done.
Yeah.
I listened to Aaron Rodgers today, right? I mentioned that earlier, and I think that team's about as confident as you can get, but very, very not cocky, but just confident.
The moxie for sure. That A-Rod hippie swag is in full effect right now.
Yeah. A lot of good leaders on that team. That defense, very underrated on the season. Preston Smith has had a great year. Kenny Clark's had a great year. You've got other, I mean, you have Jair Alexander coming back. Yeah, I mean, you've got
Rasul Douglas, the corner standout this season.
You just got a good team overall. You look at like a team like the Bucks, you got a lot of question marks, right?
Yeah.
You look at a team like the Rams or the Cardinals we just talked about, you got some question marks. Look at the Niners, Cowboys, you got question marks. You got question marks with the Eagles. I just think
that you don't have any question marks with Packers.
I don't. No.
Other than the fact that Ronald thinks that Rodgers a douchebag. which she can be at times. I will not.
I would probably, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably be a douchebag too.
Oh my gosh, John is classic for saying that.
I mean, he's the man. What do you expect to say? You know?
Honestly, dude, if I had an arm like that, I'd be kind of an asshole too.
But when you look at the AFC, you got a question mark next to almost every team. I think the most sound team is arguably the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, they've had problems with starting off hot, but here's the thing, though, right? The most sound team is the Buffalo Bills, but very easily they could be out round one.
That's true. It's true. They've had some bad points in the season too, but
so my next question is, and it kind of gets to that point against the Patriots. What team on the opposite spectrum could make a run to the Super Bowl that we're predicting to lose in the first round? So Raiders, Pats, Eagles, Cowboys, Steelers, Cards.
Cowboys.
Oh, my guy's hungry for some Jerry Jones.
Or the Cardinals.
You like yourself some Jerry Jones.
I hate Jerry Jones.
Yeah. I mean, I think
or the Steelers.
yeah. You and Big Ben, bro. It's just because you look like him, dude.
He's the guy. Dude. I could see a heartwarming end of career storyline that no one's thinking about for Big Ben.
Yeah, now I can. I can't. I'd say I'd say the Pats. Actually, I'd say the Pats.
Okay, that's fair.
If they can get past Buffalo, I definitely think they have a really good chance at beating a team like Kansas City because I think Bill Belichick will have a great way of scheming up against this team. And another big thing about this Kansas City team that scares me is that Tyreek Hill is super banged up. For anybody who owned Tyreek, obviously in Week 18 fantasy, you understand that.
And but the last like 3 or 4 weeks of fantasy.
Yeah. And so now you're talking about already the game plans out there, the books out there on how to stop this Kansas City team. It's to limit the deep ball, make them drive up and down the field on you. And now you take away Tyreek Hill, bro. Like, now it literally is just Travis Kelce.
Hardman played okay last week.
He had a great game, which is a little surprising in my end.
Yeah, I'm not really trusting that, but okay. I mean, I think it's fair. It's kind of like I view the Chiefs and the Bucks in the same light. Like they got a lot of question marks. I'm not fully confident in them as a whole team, but I still believe in them because their coaching staff and their quarterbacks.
Yeah,
You know, do I think they're the best teams involved? No, but
No.
do I think they can win it all? Yes. And
We should
playoff football is completely different from regular season football. I mean, it. I think it boils down to your quarterback and your coaching staff at the end of the day.
yeah.
There's a lot of other things that can help, like having a good defense, and like having uh, better skill position players and healthy players too. But end of the day, coaching staff and quarterback, I think, is what it really comes down to.
Which in that case, I mean, really puts Tampa ahead. Tampa
Yeah,
and Kansas City.
yeah. But I mean, I won't be surprised if we get Tampa. Can we get? Yeah, we can get Tampa and Green Bay in the championship. Yeah, and then
Uh, yeah, we definitely could.
yeah, because Tampa's number 2, so they'll
Yeah.
they'll remain playing the lowest remaining seeds. And then I won't be surprised if we get Kansas City and Buffalo, if that's possible. 2v3, I think
Um,
it is. Yeah, I think there is a scenario where they can play each other before, but if that doesn't happen,
yeah, I mean, I think that's like what the best popcorn would be.
oh yeah,
And
I'm
then
a popcorn guy, so
yeah, and then obviously the Bucks Patriots Super Bowl likelihood is kind of plummeting a little bit.
remember that was a thing a couple weeks
That
ago.
was very fun. That was very fun.
Yeah,
And it's still not out of the question, right? But
no, 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 no.
the way Mac Jones played against Miami last week spooked me a little bit, and the way this Patriots team has not been able to rely on him to get it done, unless it's a shitty team. Uh, I don't know. It's just add some question marks for me that they're going to be able to go up against. I mean, these are the guys he's going to have to go up against: Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, uh, Jimmy Garoppolo, uh, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Staff infection. He's going to have to go up against those other teams that we're predicting to be winners this week. So I just don't know where Mac Jones fits there yet. But I mean, here to this is a guy, this is a dude who will be able to comfortably do this. I think he's got that swagger to win it in his first year. I will say that, but I tell you what, if the fucking Pats beat the Bills, and I think they'll play the Titans in the next matchup, they could go on a tear and beat the Titans. Uh, Man, Bill Belichick, you get my utmost praise if you can do that.
Jason Konami, Bills Chiefs AFC Championship looks impossible. If Bills and Chiefs win the wild card games, Titans plays winner, Bengals Raiders, Bills play Chiefs. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is confusing with the way it's set up now.
yeah.
There's a whole extra game here.
I like it this way though. I will say that with the season change, I do like what they've done in the playoffs because first off, the wild card is like the most fun in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
But also, uh, I think it's like deserving that only one team from each conference gets a bye week.
sure.
That's how I feel, anyways. I feel like it gives you a little bit more to play for the full 18 games.
It does. And we saw that this past year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, teams need to fight to the very end.
The only team that didn't was the Packers. They're
Yeah,
the only team that didn't have something at stake.
yeah, and it's just because they were that good. And I mean, if you think about it, if Jordan Love wasn't the quarterback against Kansas City, they would have won that game too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and their record could be even better. And one person we didn't mention when we were breaking down how damn good this Packers team is, Aaron Jones. I mean,
yeah,
getting the full week of rest to get healthy, and also not really having to be used against Detroit. And really not having to be used a ton over the past couple weeks. We're going to see a healthy Aaron Jones being spelled by a dominant AJ Dillon and cold playoff Lambeau weather. Dude, I just don't see the recipe for them losing.
they're used to that weather, man. It's predicted to be like 10 degrees throughout the playoffs or less.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think it's a great playoff picture, man. I love me some playoff football.
me too.
It's just so different. It's you win or you're out. Been saying it all
Yeah,
weekend. You win or you're gone. And it's just exciting, man. It's a whole different flair. And we're gonna get 3 days of football. I do like that. I do.
yeah.
I do. I mean, Ronald makes fair point. Someone ends up with a short week potentially. I think the long season is bad for these players. We saw that this past year for sure.
100%.
But it's good for the ratings, more than likely.
Very good for the ratings. Very good for the ratings.
Yeah, we got. I mean, when we look at this big picture, I think I would have liked to see Colts over Steelers, Chargers over Raiders. Looking at the NFC, though, this is exactly how I wanted to see the NFC shape out. And I'm still not mad that the Steelers or Raiders are there. They earned that, right? But I think this would be a lot more interesting if we had the Chargers and Colts involved.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. And
it's all good.
I think with the NFC, yeah, you're spot on. These are all the teams that deserve to be there. For a long time, I wanted Minnesota to be in there, but I think the Eagles deserve it more.
Well, it would have been the Niners if anyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, towards the backstretch, yeah, definitely too. Yeah, the Niners deserve it definitely too. I mean, shit, my Super Bowl predictions actually still coming into tuition here. So let's go Debo. Let's go Debo. Carry that forward. Let's see what Ronald's saying in the chat. Yeah, Titans Bills championship game. That'd be nice. Well, frankly, Boy thinks he's smarter than everyone else and thought if he had Wentz, it would be different. Well, nope. He is who they say he is. Yeah, Ronald, I mean, you Eagles fan, you had him. I think that's why I was so disappointed too with Carson Wentz, because it's like the guy is so talented, bro. Like he's got all the raw talent you want in a quarterback, Carson Wentz. He just doesn't have it up here. Like he can't, and it's weird because like Frank Reich, like you thought he had his ear, like you just start don't try to go for a touchdown every play. Like don't go for a touchdown every play. You don't need to throw the ball every play. Like he was handed a gift in Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in the damn game, and he still couldn't do it.
It's okay, man. I mean, there's always next year. You know, if you had Phillip Rivers, he'd probably be there.
Oh yeah. Big facts. Yeah.
Dude, would it be crazy to see the Colts make a move like the Eagles did and just go out and draft a young, elusive, dual threat quarterback and slowly progress from Carson Wentz after this year?
I really don't think we are going to be that splashy in the draft at quarterback. I will say this though. What are your thoughts on Indy being a market for one of the big name quarterbacks that are being shopped around in the league, right? Because one thing I was hearing today was that, like, I think what we're going to see next year is because there's going to be a lot of player movement, right, this offseason. It's going to be fun to put out content about the offseason, upcoming free agents, all the jizz and jazz, right? But I think there's going to be a lot of player movement at quarterback for guys that are even locked up on deals, right? Guys that are in that level of like a Carson Wentz, right? So not a great quarterback by any means, but like a Jimmy Garoppolo, right? I think if Jimmy Garoppolo is on the Colts, I think we're a Super Bowl team. I think if Derek Carr, another guy who's been shopped around, right? He's on the Colts. It's a Super Bowl team. So I think there's going to be multiple teams that are shopping for like that mid to a little bit above mid average quarterback that can really change the direction of your franchise. And I think those guys are going to be going like hotcakes.
I think they just hold on to Wentz, truthfully. Yeah.
I do too. I do too. But I'm just saying, like, I do think that's really the only thing I could say, because the one thing about Frank Reich and Chris Ballard is I really feel like they are starting to get an idea that this is like the pinnacle moment. And to be honest, this was like the year to be really good in the AFC, because the AFC doesn't really have an alpha this year. Yeah. And next year we're going to have Kansas City back, or, Buffalo will probably be more consistent. This was the year to do it in my mind, and losing it the way we lost it sucks. Not the only fan out there who had to deal with that kind of shit, though.
All you had to do was beat the Jags
and the Raiders. All you had to do the Raiders.
Yeah, beat any one more team this year. You just need one more win on the year. You would have been
terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. At least the
Wentz,
Jags have some momentum going into next year.
yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I think they're going to get the Michigan edge rusher, Aiden Hutchinson. I think they're going to also get a ton of. I think they're going to like. Where do you see them spending the draft capital? Where do you see them
Oh, they might
spending
make
the
a trade. They might pick up
trade?
a couple picks. Yeah.
Okay, so you think they are gonna? Because I thought you meant like trade for a big time player, and I
Oh
don't
no,
think
no.
they'll do that. I think they're going to invest on this squad, and I mean, for me,
I
when
do
I look
think.
at
Yeah, I mean, you get a new head coach. You have the number one overall pick. You pick the best player available,
yeah,
and then entire draft, right? Which is
yeah,
probably Hutchinson,
round
right?
down, yeah,
And if you don't do that, then you trade away that pick and you acquire a couple, whether it's an additional first rounder next year, whether it's an extra second rounder this year, and you only move up a couple spots and a fifth rounder, whatever it is, right? I think those are the two scenarios I see for the Jags. But
yeah, very similar to like what Miami did, right? They
yeah,
they stockpiled a shit ton of draft capital, and now they've been able to swing for the fences for a big time player if they really wanted to. I think the Jags will do that if they're smart, if they bring in good leadership. I think they're going to also realize that this is not a must. This is not a must win season this year.
no,
Like
it's if you get 6 to 8 wins next year, it's a
that's a
success.
massive win. It's a massive win. That's what
The
you know.
Browns, right?
I think the way that this Detroit Lions team played this year
Yeah,
was like the perfect model. Like they traded off of like big name players and let some people go, like Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones, to free up capital. And then they did smart moves, right? They brought in guys like Jamal Williams, right? They brought in guys like Dan Campbell. They brought in some veterans that are going to be able to bring a swagger to the locker room, but winning type of guys, guys that are going to be able to fight every play. And then they drafted really well too, bringing in like Patrick Swell for Oregon, the left tackle, and then also just getting a guy like DeAndre Swift and being able to feed him ad hoc,
yeah,
right? So that's the model, right? Having a team that's just going to fight all four quarters. I think that was the thing that Flores did too in Miami, is that when they had that dog shit season last year and then was like totally out of the picture, he was like, nah, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting. And that does a lot for a team that like really gets a team fighting in the right direction for the next year. And that's what the Jags need to do. That's what all these bottom feeder teams need to do.
sure, sure. Yeah, I still think the Jags are a good landing spot overall. So we'll see. All right, so that'll wrap up our wild card weekend predictions, discussion, breakdowns. Absolute blast. That was a lot of fun. Super
Yeah, it
excited.
was.
Ron the Goat says Packers versus Bills in the Super Bowl. Book it.
I like that prediction a lot, man. I like that one a lot too. I think a lot of the Catch fam would like that prediction.
Jerry's back as well. Hey, Jerry.
What is up,
Uh,
Jer?
so yeah, I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. It's gonna be a fun weekend of football. I'm definitely gonna stream Saturday night during the Bills Pats game. We've got some 2022 fantasy rankings, top tens coming out throughout the week as well at each position. We should have kickers dropping shortly after the stream. Tomorrow, we are running another mock draft with you guys. I'll go ahead and send the link. 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is the plan for tomorrow's stream. So if you guys are interested, we ran one last week, which was a ton of fun, and you guys were super interactive for that. And we've got a couple open spots. I'm going to post it again in a community post, but let's try and get those spots filled. If not, we'll figure something out, but we'll probably get them filled either way. So make sure you guys join if you want to be part of the early 2022 mock draft tomorrow. Let's get some practice in. Let's talk about some fantasy tomorrow. Take a break from playoff football, though we can still talk about playoff football at the same time. So yeah, we'll have some videos popping up this week and a couple of streams planned throughout the week as well. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait for Wildcard weekend. I'm sure you guys can't either. It's gonna be some good football games. It really is. So we will go ahead and wind down the stream. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Appreciate you guys being a part of our Wildcard weekend discussion. Steven, you got anything to say before you want to sign off here?
No, man, just excited to excited to get some playoff football, man. I was just thinking about how crazy it is that we're already at the playoffs. Super Bowl is going to be here sooner than we know it. And then draft happens, everything moves so quickly, and then we'll be back at week 1, right? But also the biggest thing too, guys, for you guys in the Catch fam who come out here every single video, every single stream, share your support. Like we appreciate you guys like big time. The loyal Catch fam who are there in and out. We love y'all. And we really, Andrea, good night. Have a great night. You sleep well. You sleep right. But no, another thing too that, I just really want to kind of get out there is while John and I are shaping these next few months in the off season, we've said it time and time again, just the more you involved in the process of letting us know what kind of content you want to see, regardless of the relevancy to fantasy football. We will definitely consider that and try to do the best thing by you guys to put the right content in front of you guys at a consistent basis. So just continue to let us know. And, we're going to continue to try to be as interactive as possible, guys. So definitely appreciate all the love and support you guys have given us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, with the fantasy season winding down to a complete halt after this past weekend and even to some degree the weekend before, right? Obviously, the numbers for the channel have significantly dropped, but nonetheless, we're still having just as much fun making content and coming out and talking with you guys and all of that. And it truly doesn't feel any different, but we just appreciate you guys who are still consistently coming out to the streams, consistently interacting on the videos. And we understand too, we're primarily a fantasy channel, right? Fantasy season's over. So we really do appreciate all you guys, man, whether you're here throughout the fantasy season, whether you're here for 1 week, then you forget about us for a little bit, or whether you're here every single night, right? So just appreciate you guys, appreciate the Catch fam, everything you guys do for us. And yeah, we'll be on tomorrow, 8 p.m., doing a mock draft. We're going to talk some fantasy tomorrow, so I'm pumped. Early 2022 mock draft. Make sure you guys join if you guys are interested in doing so. I'm going to repost that link. It is in the chat. I'm going to repost it in a community post tonight as well. So, guys, hit that like button on the way out if you didn't do so already. If you tuned in and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button down below. Join the Catch fam tonight. If you watch this retrospectively, feel free to drop any comments down below, any thoughts, questions, concerns, although probably not any questions other than maybe is Steven doing okay?
Is Steven's head getting bigger? Yeah. How big is his forehead in today's episode?
Yeah. Hit that notification bell on the way out to never miss any uploads or streams. And of course, the Discord link is in the description down below, completely free to join. We will talk to everyone tomorrow. We appreciate you guys. Got nothing else to say. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.
Peace.